A new possible landing spot for Rob Gronkowski in 2022, and a lot of Dynasty talk right now on Fantasy Football Today in 5. I'm Adam Azer with Heath Cummings. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. So, Heath, a lot of news, a lot of coach speak coming out of the NFL Combine. What has caught your eye or your ear so far?
Yeah, a tweet by Tim Graham, a Buffalo insider, who said the Bills are interested in adding Rob Gronkowski, who is from Western New York, not Buffalo, but close enough, and is currently, I think, undecided about playing football in 2022, but also a free agent. It would be very, very interesting for the Bills. It'd be awesome for Gronk. It'd be terribly bad news for Dawson Knox, though.
Would it be bad news for Diggs? Would it matter?
I think it could, like if Gronk played 17 games, I would think that Diggs' touchdowns would probably be closer to what it was in 2019 or 2020 than it was in 2021.
Okay. All right, let's enough of that. Let's get on to Dynasty here. So we're going to talk about a lot of things in terms of Dynasty on the full-length show, Fantasy Football Today. But here's one. DeAndre Swift, Javonte Williams, Christian McCaffrey. You've got a third-year guy, a second-year guy, and then the off-injured Christian McCaffrey, who at his best is the best player in fantasy. How are you ranking them in Dynasty right now? Swift, Javonte Williams, Christian McCaffrey.
I currently have them in that order, but it is very, very close between the three of them. In my trade chart, I start with kind of 50 as the top value. That's Jonathan Taylor. Swift, Williams, and McCaffrey are within 0.7 points on the trade chart. So almost indistinguishable. I could understand someone who was a true contender saying, you know what, I want to shoot the moon. I'm going to trade Javonte Williams for Christian McCaffrey. I think that makes sense. I also understand somebody who thinks it's time to rebuild, maybe trading McCaffrey for Javonte Williams. They are right there in the same tier. And all three have reasons to make you very, very nervous.
And I think it's really hard for me to say definitively who should be the number 2 running back in Dynasty. I don't think that DeAndre Swift really fits the typical criteria. You know, he's not a workhorse back. He hasn't stayed healthy for more. He's played 13 games each of his first 2 seasons. He's really a PPR stud. He's not on a great team. There are just so many, I don't even know questions, but not enough qualifications for him to be a typical number 2 running back in a dynasty league. But I think we're seeing the aging of the position. So this can't be an easy call who to put after Taylor.
No, and to be clear, this is number 3, 4, and 5 for me. Number 2 I have is Najee Harris.
Of course.
Yeah, but I don't know that should be. And of course, when we start the 2022 season, week 1, Najee Harris is going to be 24 years old. Swift will be 23. Javonte Williams will be 22. So I think, again, he could be in that same discussion. I've got him slightly ahead of those 3. But yes, it's really tough behind Taylor to put these guys in any sort of order at all.
How much upside do TJ Hawkinson and Dallas Goedert have? And how does that affect their dynasty ranking?
Well, I think if you look at my top 5 tight ends, it's Pitts, Andrews, Kittle, Kelsey, Waller. And some people want to put Hawkinson or Goddard in that range as well. I don't think there's as good of argument for Goddard. He's already 27 years old. He's a year older than Andrews, only a year younger than Kittle, and just hasn't shown the upside. But that question determines, do those guys belong in the Darren Waller, George Kittle discussion? They've not really shown us over any sort of length of time at all that they have that type of upside. They look like mid-range number 1 tight ends who, if it's a down year at the position, could possibly finish top 3, but not legitimate top 3 difference makers.
Okay, one more quick topic here. How about DK Metcalf, AJ Brown? How do you see those two?
Again, 2 more guys that I have very, very close. I've got Metcalf at number 6 at wide receiver, AJ Brown at number 8, which I think is probably the lowest that anybody has him in Dynasty. But Brown's injury concerns bother me a little bit. His offensive and quarterback concerns might even bother me more, though, right now, just because I don't think we have any reason to believe Tennessee is going to change from their current MO of being a very run-heavy team, at least for as long as Mike Vrabel's there and Derrick Henry's there. And Tannehill wasn't very good last year. We don't know where the future lies beyond him. So I think there's a possibility for a low pass offense that's just not very good either.
One thing I'll ask you on tomorrow's show, who's the next Allen Robinson? News today that the Bears are probably going to let Allen Robinson walk. And man, just goes from a consistent top 15, top 12 wide receiver to not rosterable. Not sure if he'll be a top 100 pick. What's that all about? Who else could it be? I'm sorry, you want to get something in there? Or?
No, I was just gonna say, like, he was 19th. I've been keeping my old rankings handy, and he was 19th when the season started back in September at wide receiver. He today is currently wide receiver 51. So it's a great question.
Okay, we'll see. What happened to Allen Robinson? Who's the next Allen Robinson? We'll talk about that on the full length show. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody.